someone? How many members
How
are
many
there in your
members are
family?
in the family?
First, when you want to know the number of members in someone's family, you can say, how many members are there in
How
your
many
family?
members are
How?
there in your family?
How?
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 How many?
Many.
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 How many
Many.
members?
The stress
Members.
is on the first syllable. Many.
Many
Members.
members.
Members. Members.
Member.
This word is the plural form of the word member. We use the plural with how many questions. Here, the stress is on the first syllable, and remember to use the final z sound. Members.
Member.
Members.
Member.
Are.
Are
There.
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 Are
There.
there.
In.
In your
In. In.
family.
Your. Family. Family. Family.
Family.
Here, we stress the first syllable. Family. How many members are there in your family? In this question, there are some key words you should emphasize, and they are how many, members, and family. This is a question beginning with how, so your voice should go down at the end. How many members are there in your family? How many members are there in your family? Now your turn.
How many members are there in your family?
How
Very
many
good.
members are there in your family? How many members?
There are 4 members in my family. To answer this question, you can say there are plus a number. For example, 2, 3, 4 members in my family. There are members in my family. There are members in my family. There are members in my family. For example, there are 4 members in my family. There are 7 members in my family. Because the question is asking about quantity, the number of family members is the important information. So, you should stress it. Now listen again, please. There are 4 members in my family. Sometimes you can add more details to this answer by giving more information. For example, there are 4 members in my family. My father, my mother, my brother, and me. Or, There are 7 members in my family. My grandfather, my grandmother, my parents, my brother, my sister, and me. So, how many members are there in your family?
There are 5 members in my family. How about you? How many members are there in your family?
There are 7 members in my family. A big one, right?
How many children do you have? If you're married, people often ask you about your children. And one of the most common questions is, how many children do you have? How? How? Many. Many. Children. 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 This word is the plural form of the word child. Also, we need to stress the first syllable. Listen. Children. Children. Do. Do. You. You. Children. Children. This word is the plural form of the word child. Also, we need to stress the first syllable. Listen. Children. Children. Do. Do. You. You.
How many children do you have?
Have.
Have. Have.
Have. Have.
How many?
Pay attention to the final v sound
Have.
at the end.
Have. How many children do you have?
Have.
How many
Have.
children?
How many children do you have? For this question, we stress the words how many, children, and have. And we use the falling tone. How many children do you have? How many children do you have? Now you try.
How many children do you have?
Very good.
How many children do you have?
I have 2, 1 boy and 1 girl. To answer this question, you say, I have plus the number. Listen. I
have.
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 I have. I have.
I have.
For example, I have 1. I have 2. I have 3. Which words did I emphasize? That's right. This question is about quantity, so the stress should be on the number. Listen to me, please. I have 2.
Have 2.
I have 2. 1 boy and 1 girl. Ah, you see, you can add more information about the number of boys and girls. Easy, right? So, how many children do you have?
Many
I
children
have one.
have
One boy.
boys.
How many children do you have?
I have two. Two girls.
Girls. Girls.
All right. You've learned how to ask and answer some questions about family. Now, it's time to review. To ask about the number of people in someone's family, you can ask, how many members are there in your family? To answer
How
this
many
question,
members
you can say,
of family?
there are plus a number
How many
members
has
in
you
my
have
family.
in your family?
To ask about
Many
the
children do
number
you have?
of children someone has, you can ask, how many children do you have? To answer this question, you can say, I have plus a number. All right, that's it for today. I hope you learned some useful things in this lesson. Don't forget to watch our next video for more practice. See you! Unit 10, Family. In the previous video, you learned how to ask and answer some questions about family. Now, it's time to practice with our friends. Here we go. Mai, do you have a big or small family?
I think I have a big family.
How many members are there in your family?
There are 7 members in my family.
Wow. Mai can talk about her family members. But there were some things about pronunciation that she can do better. Did you notice what they were? How many members are there in your family?
There are 7 members in my family.
Right. She mispronounced two
Right.
words. The first one is there.
There.
She pronounced it like ze in Vietnamese. This is one of the most common mistakes of Vietnamese learners. Actually, it's not z, it's v. Pay attention to me, please. Put your tongue between your teeth like this. V. 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 There.
There.
Air.
There.
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 Good.
There.
The second one is members.
Member.
She forgot to
Member.
pronounce the
Member.
z sound at
Members.
the end.
Members.
Her family has 7 members.
The family has
So,
7 members.
we should use members in plural
Members.
form. Members.
Members.
7
Members.
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 7 members.
7 members.
Now, let's go back to Mai and see how she can correct her mistakes. Mai, I think there are some things we can work on to improve your speech even more. So, there were 2 words I heard, there and members. With the word there, we need the th sound. There.
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 Yeah. And the second thing with members, it's plural. So we need to hear the z at the end. Members.
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 Great. So, how many members are there in your family?
There are 7
There
members
are 7
in my
members
family.
in my
Great.
family. There are 7 members in my family. There are 7 members in my family.
Hi, teacher. What are you doing?
What are you
My
doing?
mom has just sent me a new picture
are
of
you
my
doing?
children.
How many children do you have?
I have 2, a girl and a boy.
How many
Wow.
children do you have?
You see, Van did rather well when she asked about my family, right? However, there are some small things I think she can improve. Let's see what they are.
Improve.
My mom has just sent me a new picture of my children.
How many children do you have?
I have
have-
2, a girl and a boy.
How many children? Children.
First, about
With
her
children.
pronunciation of children.
Children.
She forgot the
Children.
d sound at
How many
the middle.
Children.
To correct it, we say
How many children?
children.
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 There are 3
Children.
children.
The second
Children.
word is have.
Children.
She ended it in v.
You have.
Have. But it's not correct. It's the v sound.
How many children?
Now, put your top teeth on your lower lip like this.
Children. How many children? How many children?
V.
How many children?
V.
How many children
Have.
have?
Have. Have. That's right. Second, about her intonation of the question.
How many children?
How many children do you have?
How many?
Because
children do
it's
you
a
have?
WH question with how, we normally end it in a falling pitch, not a
Falling.
rising.
How many children? do you
Listen
have?
again, please.
How many children?
How many
do you have?
children do you have?
How many children do you have?
How many children do you have?
How many children do you have?
Now, let's
How
go
many
back to
children
Van
do you
and
have?
see how she can improve. Okay, Van. So, there are a few things I think we can work on to make your speech much better. So, the first thing was the
How many
word
children?
children. I didn't hear the d in the middle. It should
Children.
be children.
Children.
Can you try? Children.
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 And the next thing was the word have. It
Have.
sounded like have when you said it, but we want to say have. Can
Have.
you try?
Have.
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 Nice. All right. And then the intonation of the
Do you have?
sentence should
How
be a
many
falling
children
tone.
do you have?
I heard a rising
How
when
many
you said
children
it. So let's
do you
try again. How many children do you have?
How many children do you have?
Let's try that again. How many children do you have?
How many children do you have?
It's better. Thank you. All right. Now it's your turn to practice talking about the number of family members. Let's go. Hello. What's your name?
So, my name is Sun. My name is.
Are you married?
Yes. Yes.
How many members are there in your family?
There are 4 members in my family.
Very good.
There are 4 members in my family.
Hello. What's your name? Are you married?
Yes,
How many members are there in your family? How many children do you have?
I have two boys.
Awesome. All right, that's all for today. I hope you can learn from our friends' practice and be able to avoid some common mistakes as following. In the next lesson, we will continue with this topic, family.
Members.
Don't
Children.
forget to practice more the exercises
How many
and
children
VChat
do you
below.
have?
Goodbye.
Bye. How many? Members.
Member. Member.
Member. Family. Price. Guide. Children.
Child. Ch-I-O-D. Child.
Trial. Trial. Tried. Tried. Try. Try.
Child. Ch-I-O-D. Child.
Trial. 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 Try. 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 Trident. Trident. Children. 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 Have. Girl. 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 Run. Girl.
Girl. G-er-l.
Girl.
Girl.
Girl. Girl. Girl. Girl. Girl. Girl. Run. Girl. Run. 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 Boy. 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 How many members are there in your family? There are 5 members in my family. How many children do you have? I have 2. One girl and one boy. One girl and one boy.
Grandfather. Grandfather. Grandfather.
Grandfather. Grandmother. Parent. Parents. Parents. Parents.
Parents.
Parents.
Parents. Parents.
Parent. Parent. Parents. Parent. Parent.
Parents. Parents.
Many.
Parents.
Girl. Boy. Children. Family.
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 Member.
Girl. Boy. Children. How many members are there in your family?
In your family.
There are 5 members in my family. How many children do you have? I have 2, 1 girl and 1 boy. How many? I have 2, 1 girl and 1 boy. How many members are there in your family? There are 4. I have. How many children do I have? How many there? I have. How? Are you married?
Yes, I am.
How many members are there in your family?
There are 4 members in my family.
How many children do you have?
I have one girl.
Nice.
Nice.
How old is your father? How old is your mother? In Unit 6, you learned how to ask someone their age with the question, how old? What about the age of someone's family members? To ask this, you can say, how old is your, and then the third person. The third person here can be mother, father,
When?
brother, or sister. So, if you want to know the age of someone's father, you can ask, how old is your father? How old? Pay attention to the ending sound
Oh.
old of the word old. Old.
Oh.
Old. Old. Old.
How old?
How old
Old
is
is
your
God?
your
No.
father? Father. Father. Please pay special attention to the sound th. Father.
The father.
Father. How old is your father?
Father.
Similarly, to ask about the age of someone's mother, you say, how old is your mother? How old is your mother? Mother. Mother. Notice the sound th. Mother.
Mother.
How old
old
is your mother?
How old is
When speaking faster, to sound more natural,
How old
you
is
should
the
link
mother?
the final sound
How old
d
is the
of
mother?
old to the beginning vowel sound I of is. Old is.
Old.
How old is? How old is your father? How old is your mother?
Is
Also, please note that in these questions, the key words are how old and the noun father or mother. And you should use a falling tone. Listen to me. How old is your father? How old is your mother? Now, please repeat after me. How old is your father?
How old is your father?
And the next one. How old is your mother?
How old is your mother?
Very nice. He's 55 years old. She's 50 years old. The answer to this question can be he's or she's plus the age and years old.
years old.
Remember that we use he when the question is about someone's father or brother. We use she if it's about one's mother or sister. And the age here is a number. You can refer to numbers below this video. For example,
How old is your father?
he's 55 years
He's
old.
55 years old.
He's. E.
5
Z. He's.
years old.
50. 50. 50.
50 years
5. I. V. 5. Years old. Remember to link the sounds between the words years and old to sound more natural. Years old. Years old. He's years old. And old to sound more natural. Years old. Years old. He's 55 years old. He's 55 years old. Let's look at another example.
How old is your mother?
Yeah.
She's 50 years old.
Years old.
She's. Sh. E. Z. She's. 50 years old.
Years old.
She's 50 years old. She's 50 years old.
Years old.
Note that you can use the full forms he is and she is instead of he's and she's. You can say, he is 55 years old. She is 51 years old. But the short forms are more common in spoken English. What does he do? What does she do? After asking about the age of family members, another common question may be about the job. A question that can be used is, what does he do? Or, what does she do? What does he do? What? What? Does. D. A. Z. Does. He. H. E. He. Do. Do. What does he do? What does he do? And what does she do?
What does
What does she?
What
Sh. E.
she?
She.
She.
Pay attention to the sound sh. Round your mouth a
What
bit.
does she?
Sh.
She.
She. She.
What does
Do.
she do?
What does she do?
What does
What
she
does
do?
she do?
What does she do?
What and do are the key words in this question. So, they should be emphasized, and your voice should go down at the end. What does he do? What does she do? Now, please repeat after me. What does he do?
What does he do?
What does he do?
Fabulous. And what does she do?
What does he do?
What does she do?
Very good. You know, what do you do is similar to what's your job. Then note that what does he do is equivalent to
What's he do?
what's his job. His. I.
Job.
Z. His. What's his job? That's right.
His job.
And what does she do is like, what's her job?
What's her job?
Her.
Her job.
Her. What's her job?
What's her job?
Exactly. He's a director. She's an officer.
What does he do?
The answer to this question is quite easy. He's a or an and the job title. For example, he's a director.
Director.
Director. He's a director. He's a worker. Worker. Worker.
Worker.
He's a worker.
Worker.
Or he's an architect.
He's
Architect.
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 Architect. Architect.
He's an architect.
Architect.
You can change the job
Worker.
title to have a proper answer. Similarly, to answer the question, what does she do? You just say, he's. Oh no, the answer must be she's. A or un plus the job title. For example, she's a lawyer. 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 She's a lawyer.
She's a lawyer.
She's a farmer.
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 She's a farmer.
Farmer.
Or she's an officer.
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 She's an officer.
Officer.
Please note that when you speak faster,
Officer.
to sound more natural, you should use linking sounds. For example, he's a doctor.
He's a doctor.
He's an architect. She's a lawyer. She's an officer. Ling, how old is your father?
He's 56 years old.
And what does he do?
He's a lawyer.
How about your mother? How old is your mother?
She's 52 years old.
And what does she do?
She's an architect. Brian, how old is your father?
He's 60 years old.
What does he do?
He's an officer.
And your mother? How old is your mother?
She's 52 years old.
What does she do?
She's a worker.
Okay, you've learned questions and answers about the age and the job of someone's family members. Let's go over the main contents of this lesson. To ask about the age of someone's family member, you say, "How old is your father?" Or, "How old is your mother?" To answer the question, you say, "He's or she's," plus the age, and years old. To ask about the job of that person, you say, "What does he do?" Or, "What does she do?" And the answer can be he's or she's, or un, and the job title. So, I hope this lesson is useful for you. To have some more practice, please watch the next video.
Đừng mặc thôi. Đó. Đó nào. Người cái áo. Màu đen. Thử mà. Là mua cái thì chưa mới học hả? Tay. Này tay thì đang kiếm.
Kiếm cái chất hàng Việt Tiên gì đó, hàng chất thanh mát thân thiện.
Được.
Unit 11 Family.
So, in the lesson video, you learned the questions and answers about the age and job of someone's family members. Now, let's have a little practice with our friends and try to say them correctly. Hi, how old is your father?
He's 50 years old.
Gì?
What does he do?
He's a lawyer. How old is your father?
He's 60 years old.
What does he do?
He's a doctor.
Đó.
So, Mai knows the way to tell the age and job of her father. However, there are some points which she can improve. Let's look again. Hi, how old is your father?
He's 50 years old.
What does he
50
do?
years.
He's a lawyer. How old is your father?
Ờ.
He's 60 years old.
What does he do?
Firstly, she missed the ending sound z in years, he's, and does.
Rồi.
Z,
Đó thì rồi.
he's. He's.
He.
He's a
He's.
lawyer.
He's a
He's a lawyer.
liar. He's a liar.
Z.
a
Years. Years old. Years old. He's 50 years old.
Yes.
He's 50 years old.
Yes, old. Yes, old.
Z.
Does.
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 What does he do?
Does. He.
What does he do?
What does he do?
Next, Mai mispronounced
Lawyer.
the word lawyer.
Liar.
She missed the y sound in the middle and said
Liar.
lawyer.
Liar.
It should be lawyer.
Lawyer.
Many students often make the same mistake with this word. Now, listen to me. Yeah. Yeah. Lawyer. Notice the y sound in the middle. Lawyer.
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 Yeah, right. Also, it'll sound more natural if Mai says her questions with a falling tone, like this. How old
Oh.
is your father?
Oh, he's a father.
How old
old
is
father?
your father?
How old is the father?
How old is your father?
How old is the father?
And what does he do?
What does he do?
What does he do? What does he do?
What does he do? What
That's right.
does he do? What does
Now,
he do?
let's return
What
to
does he
Mai
do?
and help her say
What
the
does
sentences
he do?
properly.
What does he do? What does he do?
Great, Mai.
What
There are just a few things I think we can work on
What
to really
does he do?
improve your speech. The first thing is the z sound.
do?
Z. Great. Like he's.
He's
He's.
He's
He's a lawyer.
he's a liar.
lawyer.
He's a lawyer.
Liar.
He's a lawyer.
All right.
He's a liar.
Years.
Yes.
Years.
Yes.
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 He's
He's a
50
liar.
years old.
He's 50
Liar.
years old.
He's 50 years old.
He's 50
50
years old.
Yeah. And
He's
does.
years old.
Does.
Does.
He's years old.
What does he do?
What
What
does
does
he
he
do?
What does he do?
What does he do?
Yeah.
What
And the
does-
next thing is
What
the
does he
ya
do?
sound.
What does he do?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
does he
Yeah.
do?
Yeah.
Lawyer.
What does
Lawyer.
he do?
Lawyer.
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 hmm And then
Lawyer.
the sentences.
Lawyer.
Some of your questions had
He's
a
a
flat
lawyer.
tone, but let's give it a
Lawyer.
falling tone. Like, how old is your father?
How old is your father?
How old is
old?
your father?
How old is
He's
your
a father.
Yeah. And what does he do?
What does he do?
What does he do?
What does he do?
All right.
What does he do?
Susanna, how old is your mother?
She's 58 years old.
What does she do?
She's a teacher. How old is your mother?
She is 39 years old.
What does she do?
She is an architect.
An engineer.
All right. Hui has tried his best. However, he can do better than that. Can you tell what he can do to improve?
Susanna, how old is your mother?
She's 58 years old.
What does she do?
She's a teacher.
What does she do?
How old is your mother?
She is 39 years old.
What does she do?
She is an architect.
She's an architect. 39.
Firstly, He missed
Years
the
old.
ending sound
Years old.
old of old.
Years old.
Ul. D. Altogether, it's old. 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 How old is your mother? When you speak faster, remember to link the D sound of old to the beginning I sound of is. Old is. How old is your mother? How old is your mother? That's it. Next, he mispronounced some difficult sounds. One of them is the sound sh in she. It's not s, not see, which makes me think of some other words like see or see. It should be sh. Shh. Round your mouth a bit. Shh. She.
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 That's right.
She.
Also, he needs to practice more with the difficult sound in 30.
30.
Put your tongue tip between your teeth.
30. 30. 30.
30.
30.
Yeah, right.
30. 30.
Finally,
30.
he should use un
30.
before a job
30.
which begins with a vowel.
35.
We don't say a
38.
architect. It should be
34.
an architect.
30. An architect.
When speaking faster,
An architect.
you should link she's
She's
to un to sound more natural.
an architect.
She's un.
She's an architect.
She's un.
She's an architect.
She's an architect.
She's an
She's an architect.
She's an architect.
Now,
She's
let's
an
go
architect.
back to Hui and help him speak
She's-
more naturally
she's an
and
architect.
properly.
An architect. She's an architect.
Great. Okay, I think there are a few things we can work on to really improve your speech. The first thing is, I didn't hear the sound old in the word old. Let's work on that. Old. D.
d,
Old. D.
d,
Old.
old,
Old.
old,
Old.
old,
Old.
old.
Perfect. How old is your mother?
How old is your mother?
And with the linking sound, how old is your mother?
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 Great.
Old
All right.
mother.
The next thing is, I didn't hear you pronounce the sh sound correctly. Sh.
She.
Sh. She.
She. She.
Great. And then you also mispronounced the sound in 30. Let's work on that.
30. 30.
30.
30.
30.
30.
Excellent.
30.
The last thing is when we have a job
30.
that starts with a
30.
vowel, we need to
30.
say un. So it's
An
not a
architect.
architect. It's
She's
an
an
architect.
architect.
An architect.
An
She's
architect.
An architect.
Yes. She's
She's
an
an-
architect.
She an architect.
She's an architect.
She's an architect.
An architect.
She's an architect.
She's an architect.
Yes.
She's an architect. She's an architect.
So your friends now can ask and answer about the age and job of one's parents. Let's have a little practice together. First, I will ask and you will answer. Okay? Let's start. Hello. What's your name?
Hello. My name is Sun. My name is Sun.
How many members are there in your family?
There are 4 members in my family.
How old is your father?
He is 50 years old.
What does he do?
He is a farmer. He's a farmer.
How old is your mother?
He is 49 years old.
What does she do?
She's a farmer.
Now, you will ask and then I will answer. Here we go. First, please ask about my father's age.
How old is your father?
He's 60 years old. Now, please ask about my father's job.
What does he do? What does he do? What does he do?
He's a doctor.
What does he
Next, please ask about my mother's age.
do? How old is your mother?
She's 58 years old. Finally, please ask about my mother's job.
What is her job? What does she do? What's her job?
She's a teacher. Well done. So, that's the end of our practice today. Let's take a look at some following notes from this lesson. Thanks for joining us in this video. See you in the next one. Goodbye.
Director.
Director. Director. Director.
Director. Director. Director. Architect. Writer. 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 Writer.
Lawyer. Lawyer. Lawyer.
Lawyer. Lawyer. Lawyer. Lawyer. Lawyer. Is lawyer. Lawyer. Officer. Farmer. Farmer. How old is the father? 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 What does he do? How old is the mother? She's 48 years old. She's a writer. Writer. She's a writer.
Lawyer. Director.
Director. Director là giám đốc.
Officer.
Con.
Architect.
Chị thích kiến trúc sư.
Farmer. Lawyer. Director. Officer. Architect. Farmer. His. His. Job. Her. Your. What's. How old is your father? He's 55 years old. What's his job? He's an architect.
What does she do?
She's a lawyer. How old is your mother? She's 46 years old.
What's your job?
I'm an accountant. How old is your mother?
She's 48 years old.
What does she do?
She's an officer.
How old is your father?
He's 50 years old.
What's his job?
He's an engineer.
What does he do?
He's an architect.
How old is your father?
He's 56 years old.
What does he do?
He's a director.
What about your mother? How old is your mother?
She's 52 years old.
And what does she do?
She's an accountant.